Hey everybody, I'm Michelle Roy of Dragonfly Wellness, and this is Wellness Wednesday. Today we are talking about my summer reading list. Last year, this video was really well received, so I thought I would do it again this year and just share some of the books that are on my list this summer. In general, I generally am working with at least or reading 2 books at the same time. Generally, one is for pleasure, for indulgence, and then the other one in some way, shape, or form informs my vocation. So generally there's 2. Sometimes there's a third, there might be a third poetry book thrown in there, so it varies. But in general, I'm working with a couple at a time. So I'm going to start with some books one of these is The Snow Leopard. This was actually a book club selection for the Hover Club for Dragonfly's book club that we read a couple months ago. It actually inspired a newsletter as well. And I did not complete this book for our meeting. I had a lot going on the month that we were reading it, and it's just really meant to be savored. So after a while, I realized, oh yes, I want to be able to sip this one in. So this is definitely a mountain read for me. So I'll be getting into that later on this summer. Another book club, this has actually we've selected this for our summer reading because we generally take July off. So we'll have a couple of months to work with this one because it's a little meatier. Called Sapiens, came highly recommended to me by a friend of mine. And this just goes through the evolution of human history from the very beginning and all the ways that it's shaped us and influenced us today, from how, largely from when we went from being a hunter-gatherer society to an agricultural society, and that whole thing. So this is going to be read later this summer. That'll probably be a vacation read for me. And then we have Origin. This is another book that I came across somewhere that sounded really fascinating. Genetic History of the Americas. So this dives into who the first people in America were and how they made the crossing to come over here and how the native people established the Americas. So I'm excited to get into that one too. So these are all kind of, sociological, I guess, and that informs my work, believe it or not. I also have usually some kind of Native American selection or 2. And last year I had shared with you that I was going to be working with the Circle of Stones book, and I didn't get to work with it as much as I really wanted to. So I brought that back to explore again this summer. I have a little more time this summer. And then right before I left Florida to come up here, I had been working with Earthway by Mary Summer Rain. I have a couple of her books. And so I'd like to continue working with this one as well. So we were deriving a lot of inspiration from that right when I left to come up to the mountains. My poetry choice this year is a new compilation of Thich Nhat Hanh's poems called Call Me By My True Names. You all know he's my favorite, one of my favorites. So I've already begun to dive into this and found a few gems in here, and that definitely comes back to my work and me sharing it with you. So I'm sure you'll be hearing poems from there. And then I have my personal reads, what I call my personal reads. I'm reading a psychology-based book called The Power of Attachment. It's really cool. It talks about all the, there's healthy attachment and then all the kind of dysfunctional attachments that we, establish in ourselves as children. It's really cool if you're really interested in looking at yourself and why we do some of the things we do and how we attach or don't. This is a really cool read. So I've enjoyed that. And then just plain old novels. I have wanted to, I feel like I finally have some watching time this summer. I'm not a big TV watcher, but I obviously have been hearing all about The Handmaid's Tale. So I read the book. I actually have already finished this. I got through this in the first week I was up here. So I've already finished this one, and I do have the second one, the sequel, The Testament, on order. So that's going to be coming next. And then hopefully I'll get into the series as well. We'll see. And then I also like reading kind of suspense / thrillers sometimes. I have to feed a little bit of the dark side of my mind. And so I had read about this in the New York Times called The Houseboat, and it's just a plain old thriller novel. So this will probably be airplane fodder or something like that. so those are the books some of the books anyway. I'm sure others will come along, but those are definitely the ones that I intend to spend time with this summer. So there it is, everybody. Thanks so much. If you have some summer reading recommendations for me or things you want to share, be sure to pop them in the comments. And thanks, everybody. I'll see you again very soon. Namaste. Happy reading.